the second aspect of this requirement is that they report back to us in terms, let us know how many funds they've raised.
Right.
And those are off the books, meaning, a lot of those funds stay in the booster organization accounting. In other words, it's not school money, it's not turned over to us, and off the books almost sounds a little negative. I don't mean it that way. But if the booster organizations raise money through a fundraising effort, they work with the schools to dispense it separate from school administration,
Right.
really.
Right.
So it hasn't always been easy to engage all of the groups in a practice of allowing us to know how much they raise.
Or what they're going to do with the funds.
Right.
If they tell us they're going to raise funds to replace the uniforms, we want to make sure and hold them accountable for actually buying the uniforms.
Very true. And they do work with the athletic director in that instance. Because I'm not suggesting in any way that the funds are spent inappropriately or without communication. That's not the case. But I think it has been a school committee policy. I think every so often the school committee has asked for a report on funds that have been raised by outside organizations. And we need their cooperation in order to give you a full accounting.
And that is kind of where I'm taking it to. I don't know when the next time we can get a look at that, but I would mainly just to see how much these groups are subsidizing what's going on in our school system, because it's a tremendous effort, and I know they raise a significant amount of funds.
Sure, and you also don't want them raising funds though and not spending them.
Right.
Because the kids really get into raising the funds, and parents are supporting those causes over and above user fees, and you want to make sure that they're being used. If there's no need for raising funds, then the following year you would turn down a request and say you've got a cash account of $10,000, live on it.
Right.
Would it be appropriate perhaps to add a small section regarding decorum during graduation exercises?
I think I know where Mr. Bowers is coming from. I mean, I'm a very liberal guy, but I don't know why, but I get bothered by the beach balls when people are speaking. Now, maybe you don't notice when you're up there speaking,
No,
but
I
I just don't know. I think that's not a bad idea.
I will tell you that I do send a letter home to all of the senior parents, asking them to, have a conversation with their child about what graduation is and what it should be. And so we do a direct mailing to them about that, but I'm not opposed to having something in the handbook. It's difficult to enforce something like that on the last day of students' high school.
It was extremely distracting.
At least this year they didn't have the shooting, the room.
Right. Right.
Is there something you can do through the faculty, their class advisors to?
We do that, Mrs. Zagre. We advise, we have an assembly with the seniors, and I speak to them. We do the letter home. But I'm not opposed to having something in the handbook.
But
Just a little extra help.
Sure.
Yes.
Try to
I may
knock
take the
that
language
down.
from my letter, and I think might serve
that'd be a
well.
good idea.
Okay.
That'd be a good idea.
I fully understand that this is a time of their feeling of freedom,
Right.
and they want to be free. And you can't touch us anymore because you can't do anything to us anymore. I understand that feeling, but it's also their ceremony, and they should be respecting it. And they should be respecting the people who are doing the talking. And that's a part of learning what their next step is going to be. Because this isn't the end, it's the commencement. And there's a lot more life out there, and they start throwing beach balls around the wrong places, they're not going to be very successful.
Right. I think it'd be good to add that to the handbook, just as
Yeah.
a.
You've seen the letter, right?
Yes.
You've received it. Do you think that language
I
speaks
think
well?
short of patting them down as they walk out
Yeah.
in the line, which I'm not opposed to, but it probably goes to even a deeper topic. We seem to have kids that don't know how to act in assemblies, and it's at the graduation, but also like at sports awards nights and other awards. There's just such buzz in the room, and nobody understands. You come into a forum when there's a speaker, be silent. you pay attention and you lend that courtesy to the speaker. And it just seems that we've got adults as well as students, that if they're not interested in what's being said, then they have the right to just chit-chat with everybody around them. And I find that kind of disturbing. And it goes beyond the students, because I was in at the State House at Lobby Day, and I had to ask some of the adults around me to be quiet, including the state senator. So, you know, it's just a lack of respect.
I think, Cliff, that's a great suggestion. Anything we can put in just to remind the kids.
Maybe our parting shot to them about respect, and one of the things that they need to do in the rest of their life is be careful of who they treat how.
Be careful of where you take your beach balls out.
Because
Seriously.
someday that might be a career-limiting move.
Yes.
I will, I'll insert this something. You're okay with me just drafting that?
Yeah. Yeah. Can we have a motion to approve the, okay. Sorry,
John, you have the new residency policy
Yes.
here. I wonder if you could put it in the table of contents. I don't think I see that there.
The residency
Yeah,
we have
it's
now,
on
not
page,
that.
oh, there it is, I'm sorry, yes. The Alert Now system, is that, I didn't see it under the weather.
It's in under, it is in here.
Okay.
I want to say it may be under a section called either emergency or, let me just look quickly here. It definitely is in here, the email and Alert Now.
I don't remember seeing it, but maybe
Let's see.
I was looking at the one on, the section on no school days on weather, and it talks about the TV, notification by TV. It may be something to put in there too. We can look for that.
Okay.
We're, as you know, we're going to be implementing a security security system at the high school, and I don't know whether some kind of statement when that system is fully operational, because it will involve video cameras in main areas, and we've said in our policy that we would put that information in handbooks. There'll be a separate letter going home when we do the mailing. And that may be something that I'll, you know how we have a couple of topics that will go in
Yes.
all handbooks?
Yeah.
But just maybe a mental note before it goes out there
There's some
to
very-
print.
I did beef up the building security section a little bit on page 29, just to reference the presence of cameras.
Oh, you did, okay.
But
But I
did
do
have a
think
lot
if
of
we could put our,
details
maybe we
about-
could put our new school committee policy in the
Yeah.
manual, David? Just put the copy of the school committee policy in the manual? That might make sense.
It's pretty lengthy, but we can certainly do that.
Or excerpt
Put
it.
it on the website,
Do you have it in there, John?
I just have on page 29 at the top, that security cameras are present throughout the school and common areas so as to contribute to a safe school environment.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, certainly if there's, maybe you want language in all 5 handbooks, that's, I mean, this isn't something I need to get printed tomorrow.
No,
so there's
and we'll be
definitely time.
putting out a special mailing on that through each of the schools as well.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is, as we know, we're going to continue in our efforts, even though I think that there is a pretty comprehensive description of the 504 process, Title IX, non-discrimination, compliance with
Yeah.
state and federal laws, as well as an acknowledgement form, which actually outlines in detail if anyone has, staff and or students, have a question about any aspect of non-discrimination. So I know we'll be taking a closer look at that in all of the handbooks. We'll also be putting a statement in on boundaries, that is student to student as well as student to staff. Something that we talk to our students and our staff about, but we may want to codify that within the handbook. It's interesting that the weight of this and the length of this, it is more like a manual.
It is.
And we do expect that both parents and students pay close attention to the details of the information in this booklet. And in fact, there is a sign-off by both the student and the parent.
Yep.
And these are retained, so that when questions arise, as they do from time to time, that we come back to this. Certainly, the school staff cannot spend, and it would take literally days to go through all of the details for this. And the high school does a very nice job under John's leadership to communicate out special details about this handbook to both students and their parents. And there's a level of responsibility that we're placing on our high school students, particularly as they grow toward independence, to understand the contents of this booklet. And there's a responsibility placed on parents to sit down with their son or daughter to go over this as well. That's why we have the sign-off sheet. So it's a shared partnership of responsibility. I know the high school does a great job in letting students know about the details in here.
Is this online?
It will be.
Okay.
The 07, 08
Because
has
now-
been, but
okay.
this one will be once it's, finalized.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Just Dr. Trobe, the section on the alert now is on page 31.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve with the amendments and the addition that John's going to add.
May I have a second? Second. Motion by Mrs. Baca, seconded by Mr. Bowers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Thank you very much.
John.
Good summer.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Okay. Under continued business now, we have no update on school building projects, correct? And no update on the fiscal '09 budget at this time. Under new business, I don't see Mr. Pierce here for the 4th of July celebration.
Can we make his approval if we know, has he submitted in writing what he wants?
He hasn't submitted anything in writing, but it's the traditional.
It's the same park, and then the buses take
Right.
the people from the parking lot, right?
Right.
I'm comfortable approving that.
I am
Yeah,
too.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to approve the use of school property for the 4th of July celebration?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Motion by Mrs. Baca, second by Mrs. Davis. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. Transfer approval plan. I think next we're about to look at the proposed trip to France.
No, that's just talking about that.
I want to be a student.
The little school decorates a folder, the rest of the contents the same.
What we have here is a proposal, I believe, from the French department
More
to
language.
have a trip to France at the end of the next school year. Dave, do you have any comments to make on this? or-
No, the teachers, Mr. Martin, Mrs. Holton, and Mrs. Cahill, all have experience in excursions, leading excursions to various places in Europe. And it's been several years since we've had a trip to France. And so this proposal is to take students, actually at the end of the school year, high school students, to France. And they're using a tour company to do the planning and so forth.
Are they able to lock, given what's going on with fuel prices, if they're able to lock in the price at this time, or do you know if that's an estimate, or?
I spoke with Mrs. Houghton actually on Friday, and I asked that question. There is a fuel adjustment clause. I also asked her to determine whether or not if there's any